Okay, today I'm here to talk about my favorite Star Wars novel. For those of you who don't already know, it's Star Wars Darth Bane Path of Destruction. This book is amazing and it blew me away. I was at Walmart picking up a few things when I saw the book aisle and the small paperback section where they usually keep kids' books such as Harry Potter and Artemis Fowl. And then something caught my eye. The striking cover art that stood out like a green thumb in the midst of all these kids' books. It just called to me. Darth Bane had arrived. The novel was written by Drew Karpyshyn, who also was a head writer and developer of the video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. As soon as I realized this, I knew with absolute certainty that this book was going to be out of this world. As most of my friends and subscribers already know, Knights of the Old Republic is my favorite game, so right at the beginning, the book had me hooked. I'm typically a slow reader when I'm reading something that I'm less than interested in, but otherwise, I read pretty moderately. By no means am I a speed reader. I read this book in only one sitting, and I never do this. This book was absolutely thrilling. I couldn't put it down. The book takes place roughly, or the story rather. The story takes place roughly 1,000 years before the events of the Phantom Menace. In those days, the Sith were not bound by the rule of two, which is established in this book, by the way. And so there are legions of Sith and Jedi alike. The Sith are broken up into two general groups. Those who serve the military, or serve in the military, similar to the way stormtroopers from the classic films do, and those who can use the Force and become Dark Lords of the Sith. The Dark Lords of the Sith, by the nature of their beliefs being based in power, control, and subterfuge, are constantly at each other's throats, and so their order has begun to crumble and grow weak under this sort of turmoil. It is up to a single Dark Lord to wipe out the order and start it anew. It is a story of how a young man named Des can go from being a destitute miner on a barren world to being an ensign with the Sith military to becoming an apprentice and ultimately becoming the Dark Lord of the Sith himself. All of this occurs in the least cliché manner I've ever witnessed. Although he is a villain, you will find yourself unfailingly loyal to the character Darth Bane. He is an anti-hero, whose ambitious motives, incredible struggles, and horrific childhood will leave you rooting for him. He is a true Sith Lord, and yet you will stand by him until the end, and you will root for him, proudly, just as you stood by the noble Luke Skywalker from the classic films. The dark side of the Force is explored more thoroughly in this book than it was in the entire film saga. You will delve into the world of the Sith, and it will change your perspective. Lightsaber philosophy, dueling, and training are all treated with great respect and sensibility in this book. The chapters that are focused on dueling are as dynamic and exciting as any of the duels in the films were, if not more so. They are compelling and are so well written that they are very easy to picture. It's almost as if you're watching the duels unfold before you, as if you're standing there. I remember one chapter described just Darth Bane disrobing, getting ready for a fight, and how there was rain falling, and how he felt with the cool rain touching his chest, and the, sort of foreboding feeling in his stomach as he, faced down his opponent. It's really sort of, kind of reminds you of those old moments from classic westerns where they're facing each other down, and you really get that sort of sense of tension just from the way this book was written. It's really flawlessly written. Additionally, the book begs the question, what is a hero? What is a good? Or what does it mean to be good? What does it mean to be bad? Although Darth Bane is a villain, you cannot fault him for his decisions. Look at the Phantom Menace, for example. On Tatooine, Anakin was saved from his life as a slave by the Jedi because their sensei had a destiny before him. Anakin was only one of many slaves, and Qui-Gon Jinn explained quite clearly that he was not there to free any other slaves. Even after the events of the movie, Obi-Wan and Anakin never once returned with mass amounts of Jedi or any sort of Republic forces to help aid those people. 10 years, Obi-Wan knew these people existed and he never once helped them. And the Republic had no real power on that world, and probably no interest in it. All that was there was sand. Well, imagine you are one of the slaves that did not get to come back to the Republic and live under the protection of the Jedi. Imagine that you live in filth and squalor and poverty, and the only promise of a better life for you lays at the feet of an empire that will recruit you into its armed forces and carry you far, far away from your miserable existence on the Forsaken World. Does that make you evil? No, of course not. Life is far too complicated to be divided into such black and white extremes. Darth Bane came from a world very similar to Tatooine, and it comes as no real surprise that he chose the Sith over the Republic. He owed the Republic absolutely nothing, whereas the Sith helped him and took him away from his life as a minor. The Republic and the Jedi never once took notice of him, or the plight of those like him. He did what was necessary for his survival, and this becomes his central theme. The rule of two was established for the survival of the Sith Order itself. Bane's main goal was to survive. In the end, that's what most of us would have tried to do if we were in his position. This is not a story of good versus evil. This is the story of the single most realistic human character I've ever come across within the Star Wars expanded universe. If you haven't already read this book, you are missing out. Thanks for watching. I hope you check out the book. Bye.